Shalom all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to Divinely Decked Tarot and Oracle Reviews done Stacy style. And I am so freaking excited today to share with you an unboxing of the brand new felt tarot from Jamie Sawyer. And this just arrived in my mailbox. Actually, it arrived in my mailbox yesterday, and I didn't get the notification. So I picked it up today and I am just so unbelievably excited. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with Jamie Sawyer, she's been doing a lot of tarot and oracle creations for a number of years now through Kickstarter. And I have two of her decks. I have the Pocket of Peers deck and I have the Out of Hand Tarot. And there's a story there with the Out of Hand Tarot. And when I saw that she was running another campaign for this felt tarot, it was a no-brainer. I was just like, sign me up, sight unseen. I definitely want this deck. And it wasn't supposed to be delivered, I think, until October. So what a treat. I did go for the package that included the guidebook. I literally haven't looked at anything yet. So you're getting it at the same time that I'm getting it. So first of all, it's got that rose petal finish to it here. So it kind of feels like felt, you know what I mean? And the way that the imagery is done, it looks like felt. I actually thought when I was pulling the book out of the box, that it might actually have a felt cover. I was kind of surprised because I'm like, I don't think I paid for felt. And then I'm like, oh, wow, that is so powerful. So let's just take a peek. First of all, I love that it is big print. I am forever 30. And not that, forever 30 means you have to have glasses, but that's what happened to me. So I like stuff where I can actually just, tap in and I don't have to have my glasses for it. But I'm seeing here that this is for Barney. Oh, I'm seeing that there's a little memorial to her fuzzy bae. Not a day goes by that we don't miss you, your big heart, your giant feet and ears, your demanding nature, and most of all, your silliness. You loved us for your whole life, and we will love you for the rest of ours. Aw, the Barney. So cute. So it looks like everything is in black and white. She does have pictures of each of the cards in here, a nice description. So just a little blip, three sort of blurbs. Then she has the drawing notes, as she always does, telling you sort of what the Easter eggs are in relation to the Rider-Waite-Smith, kind of maybe her thoughts on what's going on. And I see here that she's added a journal excerpt in here, which I think is really cool. Here we are seeing that she denotes each of the suits. And it looks like the suits are going to be pretty much the same as the Rider-Waite-Smith swords. Oh, that's funny. I have that exact sword picture in my book. So funny. We all have to use swords that are royalty. We have to use pictures that are royalty free. Pentacles. Okay. So yeah, it looks like she's true to the Rider-Waite-Smith, as she normally is in her, at least in her other decks. From what I have seen. So and wands, Ace of Wands. So yeah, I'm really excited to check that out. She did offer an option to get the deck without the guidebook. And most of the time I just roll that way anyway, because I don't really use the guidebook very often. But with this one, I don't know, I was compelled to get it. So we'll see. I may use it, I may not. But I think it's almost like with this, I feel like it's going to be a bit of a collector kind of experience. So I think that's kind of what sort of drew me to going that route. So here's the front of the deck. And I love that there are no words. It's just felt. And then, of course, we have the felt tarot here. And here's the back. Anticipate, observe, recognize, and sense. Tarot has a way of ushering in feelings that lead to opportunities, pathways, and new directions. 78 hand-cut images crafted from felt and flocked vinyl. Please note the cards are not made of felt. This deck is the result of scans from the original panels. In loving memory of our beloved fool, Barney. Aww, so cute. Well, this is such a unique concept. I'm pretty excited. So I do not like the fact that it is a tuck box. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you know I'm not a fan. Not my favorite. Simply because it's a poor-ish quality. Although this isn't too bad, but it doesn't stand up to wear and tear. But it is what it is. So just looking at it right now, it looks like kind of a larger sized, slightly larger sized tarot than I would say. Like I always use U.S. games as the sort of the measurement of everything. It feels like it's a little bigger than a U.S. games, and it's the same cardstock as a U.S. games cardstock. Loving the back. So it's not technically reversible because the one is blue and one is green. But if you're not paying too much attention to it, the whole thing, very much the design of it is reversible. So, oh my God, drum roll, please. Let's see what we got. Oh, here's Barney. I am such a sucker for the animals. So my heart is actually hurting right now. So I'm going to just kind of like skip on and know that he is in a better place. I never met him, but OMG. So loving this energy. And this was one of the things that actually, like I said, I just got this sight unseen because I know that I have enjoyed Jamie Sawyer's decks in the past. So for me, this was just a no-brainer. But I did look at some of the imagery just so that I could get an idea of what it looked like. And this was great. The fact that the fool was the dog, rather than the dog being the companion, I just thought was brilliant. And I love that there's I'm going to call that a phoenix feather, a red feather that is supporting him. I think that's fantastic. Here we have the magician. Interesting. So no people in the magician. You're just seeing the magician's tools and you're seeing these beautiful flowers. So that nod to the traditional Rider-Waite Smith, that RWS is the garden. And so I kind of like that energy. The high priestess. So we have the pomegranates, we have the scroll, the Torah, we have the as above, so below, the two pillars, the night and the day. We have some water going on here. So the psychic realm and receiving. And again, no people. I don't think there are people in this deck. And so kind of another nod to her out of hand tarot, which I find absolutely fascinating. And the story behind that is that I got it kind of on a whim. I was trying a bunch of different things and I got it and I was like really disappointed. I don't think I was emotionally ready. I wasn't, I want to say tarot mature enough to be able to understand it. And so it sat on my shelf. I would use it on occasion, but I didn't connect with it until just a few months ago. I pulled it out for something and I was like, oh my God, I get it. I get you now. So loving that there are no people in this deck. Love the Empress card here. So the typical cornucopia, we've got sort of the fall season, that harvest energy, definitely the Venus being reflected here. Here's the Emperor. So a lot of the nod to the RWS is in the colors. And I think that's really brilliant. We are seeing the Empire. We're seeing what the Emperor stands for, fights for, what the Emperor runs. But we're not seeing the Emperor itself. The Hierophant or Hierophant. I say it, I say it both ways. I always typically pronounce it Hierophant because the IE, I always think of it like a German word. So the E is what is pronounced rather than the first vowel. It's always the second vowel, but tomato, tomato. I love the keys and that there is a lot of the sacred geometry that is reflected here. I think that's really important because you don't see that in the RWS. But I think that's exactly what this is because it's about our being in our inner guide, connecting to our inner guide. The lovers, oh, gorgeous. So we have the snake, we have the flames, no angel, no people, but we've got a heart and how the heart is growing. We've got the angel wings coming off of the heart. Cupid's arrow, I like that, going into the sun. Big heart framing it. Wow, that's really, really cute. Here we have the chariot. Oh, loving this chariot energy. And again, we've got the astrological symbols that are being reflected here rather than the chariot itself. So this is what drives us. This is the divine blueprint that keeps us going. You know, these are, I want to say it's like under the radar, or the subconscious that drives our divine blueprint. Here we have the Strength card. We've got the beautiful lion looking up into the facets of a diamond. Gorgeous. The Hermit. Oh, loving this. So we're seeing a view from inside the cave looking out. The cane or the staff, the walking stick, is holding the lantern here, but it's not being held by a hand. It's kind of being held by like a hook by the door type thing. That's really cool. The Wheel of Fortune. Loving the orange around it. Orange is our representative of our sacral chakra. It's our sensuality, sexuality, creative expression and flow, and the ocean of our emotion. And I feel like when we're talking about the Wheel of Fortune, it's that divine order timing. It's the luck, things changing. I call this liquid luck. I would equate all of that with how we're feeling about things. You know, our feelings dictate our experiences, and whether an experience is going to go well or not so well, you know? And so I really like that she's chosen orange to depict the wheel. Here we have the Justice. Oh, it's like the sword and the stone. Very cool. Oh, and there's an axe. That's interesting. Instead of a gavel, we have an axe. The Hanged One. This is like a little cocoon to me, hanging on the tree. So I love that the tree takes precedence, but it's so big so that you have no choice but to pay attention to the growth that is in the process of happening, but it's not quite ready yet. And that's very much the Hanged One. Here we have the Death card. Oh, this is really interesting. So, loving the hourglass, loving that death is slowly funneling or dripping or dissolving into the new city, you know, the new approach, the new life that is available, the new life that is coming. I like the colors here too, because there's still a little bit of color, but it's muted, because death is really about, you know, something ending, coming to an end. So having a ton of color in there doesn't make sense. But the color that pops is the sun. And it's just a bit, because that's what happens. The Death card is things are kind of burning, right? You're going through the loss, and you're just getting a little titch of the vision. Here we have the Empress card, and this is gorgeous. Really loving the how the feathers are doing the work of the alchemy. All-seeing eyes coming out of here. Very interesting interpretation. Here we have the Devil. So the chains are chaining the lights, the candle lights. This says to me like it's our soul light, you know, I am a spark of the divine and the divine is me. So it's like having your divine spark chained to this human body or this physical experience. And being caught in ritual, being caught in the pleasures of life, the materiality of life. And of course, we're here to enjoy the pleasures. It's not about being puritanical, but this is excess. And we want more of our lights to grow. You know, if anything is in excess, that would need to be in excess. The Tower. Interesting. This is like an atom, like the atom. The nucleus or whatever they call it. That's really interesting. Like the bomb, right? The atom bomb. And the Tower is on its own little island. So it looks like it's not going to affect anything else, just itself. That's really significant. That would mean something in a reading to me. Basically saying, hey, it's only one area, you know, that things are crashing down. And yeah, the ocean of emotion is around you, but it's going to support you. It's going to absorb some of that stuff and help you to transmute it. The Star. Always love me a star card. This is interesting. So I feel like it's more artistic. It has the element, obviously, there's a big fat star in the center of it, But I would say that anything else aside from that, like where is the water coming from? The water is just sort of coming from uh, an indescript source. It's not coming from the bird. It does indicate a little bit of intuition required, and I want to say there's like a little like there's a darker purple and a lighter purple. I would venture to say maybe even a little bit of the pink, like a light pink here, which is self-love and self-care, unconditional love, part of that part of the heart chakra. This one I feel a little bit like, okay, like I'll just read it like the star card rather than the imagery kind of speaking to me. The moon. So this almost looks like an eclipse to me. I don't know if that's intentional or not. We'll have to check the journal, or the guidebook. But I do see some buildings, the two pillars kind of on either side. There is a pathway that's being created here. This feels a little stormy, a little cloudy. A lot of, muck and mire, lots of layers of things, but the pathway is pretty clear through. Here's the sun. So very much a nod to the traditional RWS. The only thing that's missing is the little baby riding the horse. Here's the Judgment card. Again, the all-seeing eye. The eye of source energy coming out of the cloud. What's interesting here is what's being awoken. There are 3 different images. So a big starburst here. This looks like almost a little bit like starfish. And this looks to me like a compass. There are some other bubbles and things here that are coming up, but that's just kind of an interesting interpretation. We do definitely have the trumpet here, sounding the trumpet. The World card. So this is the first time where we're seeing an actual figure, a human figure being depicted. We can't see the face. It's wearing definitely a lot of it's meant to blend in, with the green. It's almost like a dancer wearing a green leotard, a patterned leotard, but definitely supposed to be chameleon, blending in, a part of, not standing out, being a part of. Ace of Wands. Ooh. I would love this to have a little more color rather than the gray. Or maybe even, the flame that's going through this. I would love for it to have a little more color. Because the Ace of Wands is that intuition, that inspired action. This feels somewhat inspired, but it feels a little lackluster. So I'm a little wah about that one. 2 of Wands. Yeah, see a little more of the color in here. That feels a little more kind of wandy or wand-esque to me. What's interesting here is we do have the Earth, the globe depicted, and then we're seeing sort of a bigger world that we're moving into that has the option for us to, you have the whole world now. Let's explore different areas within your world. It's not about gaining worlds as much as it's, okay, you've got the world now, get to know the world, get to explore it. 3 of Wands. So the sun is the fire. And there are some ships that are being depicted here in the water. This almost looks like a snake, more so than air or flame. It looks almost like a snake. It's fascinating to know that all of these were felt pictures. 4 of Wands. 5 of Wands. So it's not a pip deck. Obviously, they each have their own little flair, but because there are no people in it, it kind of gives me a little bit of a feeling of a pip deck. Now, this definitely doesn't look like a pip deck at all. But those first few just kind of gave me the feeling of, okay, we're seeing 1 of Wands, 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands. Now I feel like we're starting to cook with gas. It's really interesting, the red and the green as being the platform through which the victory is being acknowledged. Red is root chakra. I feel safe. I feel secure. I have all of my needs met. I not only survive, I thrive. The green is one half of the heart chakra, healing, healer, healed. Makes sense when you have fought a battle, right? When you fought a battle, your safety, your security, your survival was in jeopardy. Now it's not, and you probably have some healing to do. So there's a cost, you know? There's always a cost. 7 of Wands. Interesting. This feels like a Chinese fan showing up here. I love all the flame that's around it. The wands seem to be wrapped around, again, this gray energy. So it's almost like the flame has yet to take place, or maybe it's meant to be smoke, being wrapped in smoke. So this is typically a card of defense. I actually tend to read the 7 of Wands more as a card of, like, you're in your zone of genius and people are coming to you from far and wide to light their wands from your zone of genius. I kind of see it in sort of in that way. This interpretation, I'm not really sure what I'm getting. I think I would have to meditate on this one a little bit. But the Chinese fan is kind of interesting. You know, we think air fanning the flames. There's growth being represented on the fan. So maybe it's the growth of something that is fanning the motivation here. Here's the 8 of Wands, that swift release. 9 of Wands, so a card of control, a card of resilience, perseverance. 10 of Wands, rewards and the burdens that go with them. Page of Wands. So here we're seeing the outline of a person. We're seeing their face, but it reminds me a little bit of the light seers. In the face, like the death card, in the face, you're actually seeing what's the motivation. You know, the light, the starburst, the energy, the fire, the source of the fire. They're wearing a hat. It's kind of cute. Knight of Wands. This is funny. The salamander is hanging out in the empty knight's helmet. I like that. That makes me laugh. Just chilling out. Hey, how you doing? Queen of Wands. Ooh. So we do have a black cat, but we also have this lioness. I love that. And again, an outline of the face, but what we're seeing is the motivation in the face, the sun, the origin of the sun depicted in the face. That's really cool. King of Wands here. So you see the salamander. We're seeing a side profile. Ace of Cups. Very pretty. I love that the water splashes are forming the wings, angel's wings. 2 of Cups. So we have the caduceus, and again, the water is forming the wings. 3 of Cups. So I love music being included in this. So we have a gramophone playing out the music, and it's creating different, having a different effect on each of the cups, each of the individual's energy, emotional state. But they're all in harmony. 4 of Cups. So a big tidal wave trying to get your attention. And the roots of the tree have come out here. That's never a good sign. It's, you know, if the roots of the tree come out in this way, it means that the tree is probably, you know, getting ready to transition. And so you've got these 3 empty cups, and then you've got this huge full cup that is being brought to you, right? 5 of Cups. Okay, so we're seeing the person's cloak being depicted here. So they've left their cloak behind. 2 cups remaining, 3 cups spilled. There's going to be a mess to clean up. 6 of Cups. Yeah, nostalgia, building blocks, playing with things. So definitely leaning into that lightheartedness, innocence, nostalgia. 7 of Cups. So Very much a nod to the RWS. I like that each cup has its own unique item. 8 of Cups. So it's a walking away. As you're walking up the stairs, you're leaving the cups behind. I like that they're stacked in on each other. 9 of Cups, wishes fulfilled. Oh, I love it. It's the genie. It's the genie. That's brilliant. Love that. 10 of Cups. So we have the RWS rainbow here. We've got the water formulating the heart, showing the, the concept of the ideal outcome, the ideal wish, the ideal. Here is Page of Cups. I like that the fish is happy and smiling, looking up. So again, with the court cards, we have this outline of a person, but you almost have to really look hard. You don't see the person first, wearing a hat, and then their face is the source of the light. Knight of Cups. So again, we have the helmet. We've got a seahorse. We've got the angels represented here. We've got these beautiful little red fish. That love, that passion. Queen of Cups energy here. She's beautiful. She's looking down at her cup. We've got these little mermaid figures, mermaid-esque figures, protecting the cup. The braid in her hair. King of Cups. So I like that he's got that ship, right? The ship, the sailing ship that is foraging on and getting him whatever it is that he is needing to support his kingdom. Ace of Swords. So kind of a traditional nod. 2 of Swords. Oh, this is cool. The mirror, but only seeing half of the mirror. 3 of Swords. So not a depiction of a heart, like our true heart. We've got sort of the essence of heart shape here, but it doesn't initially look like, oh my God, that's heart. The colors in here are kind of muddied. That makes sense. When you're heartbroken, you're not really all up in your, like you're so oversaturated in your feelings that it is muddy. You don't know how you feel, right? Other than just sad and I don't want to feel this way anymore. 4 of Swords. So really focusing on that stained glass. 5 of Swords. Interesting. I'm just noticing like the broken bridge. So win at all costs, but was it worth it? 6 of Swords, moving on, support and grace, moving on to calmer shores. Sort of the hint of a boat here, the essence of a boat. I like the coloring in here. The coloring feels hopeful in amongst the storm. 7 of Swords. So we've got the, sort of the campground area of the traditional RWS depiction. And the clouds are in the smoke are the culprit. 8 of Swords. Interesting. It's a brain on the inside. The brain is trapped. It makes sense. It's entrapment of the mind. 9 of Swords. So anxiety, nightmare stuff, the stuff of nightmares. Interesting that all the swords have these beautiful pops of color. They're very ornate. They look beautiful. And so then you've got this smoky energy that is kind of winding around it. It's almost like our thoughts can ruin the beauty of the moment. 10 of Swords. So utter ruin, downfall, the end of something. This is like dead, done, stick a fork in me. There's nothing left. So this is a target box. It's kind of interesting. And there really isn't a whole lot of room for anything more. They fit all the daggers and swords in that they possibly can. Page of Swords. So again, an outline of a face. We're seeing a bit of an angelic energy coming through here. I feel like angelic wings. Knight of Swords. I like the heart on the sword. Queen of Swords. Oh, beautiful. She's gorgeous. It's almost like a butterfly in her face. I love that. King of Swords. So here it's almost like we're seeing the eyes, but it almost feels a little bit like a moth to me. So I know there's a butterfly in the queen, so it could be a moth or it could just be another butterfly, sort of a crystalline energy, the amethyst energy in there. Ace of Pentacles. Oops. So all of these are bordered. They're all bordered in, I want to say, the color of the suit, which I think is good because you don't notice the border. It's part of the picture. And I always like that. This is interesting because it's like non-ripe pine cones. So like really indicating, okay, like this is brand new. You know, it's going to take some time to ripen and to develop, but the seeds have been planted. It's there, it's growing, it's on its way. Will you choose to nurture it or not? Two of Pentacles. So the balancing out. I love that it's water. They're talking about the water energy, that emotional space. Three of Pentacles, that collaboration, collaborative energy. Looks like architectural stuff, blueprints. That would say to me, actually, in this deck, I would say this could even be like a contract card. You know, the divine blueprint, all working together, collaborating. What soul contract do I have with each of you? What soul contract are we acting out at this time? Four of Pentacles. So it's an abacus. And so for those of my younger viewers, an abacus is something you probably wouldn't have ever heard of. It's something that happened before calculators, which you probably also have never heard of. So it's kind of like the beginning. And this was what the Chinese used to use, you know, back in the old days before technology. And this was the calculator. This was how they mathed, basically. So I think that's really interesting that she has used an abacus to represent that Four of Pentacles, which can very much so be about greed, a lack and scarcity. Here's the Five of Pentacles, a card of worry. Interesting. So the wintry energy is definitely a nod to the RWS. We have a locked door, a locked fence, actually, a locked gate here with the Pentacles. So not representing a church or a stained glass window. Here we have the Six of Pentacles, so generosity, reciprocity. This can also be greed. And Six of Pentacles is also one of my two cards of contracts. Seven of Pentacles. So reaping rewards of the harvest. There's still work that needs to be done, but you're there. There's something of substance there. Eight of Pentacles. This is the hard work. This is the attention to detail. This is the mastery card. You know, I've learned a lot from the time that I started to where I'm at now. I've learned a lot and I continue to learn. Nine of Pentacles. So this is a card of gratitude. This is also a card of practice and perseverance and honing your skills. I think this is a falcon. So yeah, it's a falcon. That's right, because there's a falcon in the RWS. So falcons are interesting creatures. You can work with them. They can deliver messages back and forth. So communicating information, communicating the knowledge that you've learned. 10 of Pentacles, that legacy card. I love that it's a dog and a cat in here. So freaking cute. I love all of the abundance. You have the impression of the house, the door within the door within the door. Page of Pentacles. Beautiful. So we've got that book, you know, they're learners. They're, I want to say the Page of Pentacle energy is the curious to learn how things work, why things work the way that they work. Knight of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. Love the bunny rabbit here. And the King of Pentacles. Golden calf. That's interesting. 2 golden calves, actually. All right. So, in true Stacy style, I'm going to shuffle these bad boys up and see if, see what energy this card, like how this card deck wants to work with you. What energy is it going to offer to you if you are working with this? So just on first blush, I am liking this deck. I am not loving this deck. So I think with, quite frankly, all of the experiences I've had with Jamie's decks, I think it's going to be a time for us to get to know each other. And I feel that as we get to know one another, we will find a love for each other versus just the initial impression. So let's see how this deck wants to work with you. Page of Pentacles. So just kind of what I was saying too, I feel like it's a journey to get to know one another. This always puts me in mind of like, you know, if you've ever had this experience like in grade school or high school where you had that frenemy where, you know, you didn't like each other for whatever reason. Maybe there was a third person, you know, kind of in the mix. But then as you mature and as you get older, you start to recognize, wait a second, why do I like hate this person? Or why am I always like, I actually kind of like this person and I don't know why, you know, and you just kind of outgrow that whole like, you know, we're frenemies or we're enemies, and you develop more of a friendship with it. And so I feel kind of this energy. I feel like this deck is also going to give you very practical guidance. It's going to give you what is, I want to say, like what's in the book. I feel like it's going to give you the details, the dollars and cents of it all. But I don't know that it's going to necessarily give you the kinds of readings that allow you to go really deep as much as it's going to give you exact. So I would say this would be a great deck, maybe not for beginners to use, but maybe like someone who has been on their tarot journey for a little bit and now they want to kind of venture out. I feel like this would be a great deck to explore in that regard, because it is similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith, but it also is different enough that it's going to allow you to kind of expand a little bit more into it. It is fun. I feel like it's going to be a fun deck to work with in terms of colors and things of that. So, and I do feel that it's going to give you practical guidance. But I also will say, from an intuitive perspective, I don't know that you're necessarily going to read it intuitively at first all the time. I feel more that this is a deck where you have to kind of understand the system of the RWS in order to get the most out of it initially. All right, guys, that is this segment of Divinely Decked, the Felt Tarot by Jamie Sawyer. And it was so fun to share this unboxing with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Until we see each other in the next segment, I am going to say sending so much love. I hope you have an amazing time doing what you're doing, and we will see you on the flip side. Transform well. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great to connect with you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. And feel free to follow me on Blue Sky for even more content every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week for another installment of Black Feather Couture, Divining the VIP Life.